Welcome back inside the Now Morning Show. We tell you we're adding things to your calendar, and this coming Saturday, All Saints Anglican is hosting its Choral Concert in Spirit and Truth, and it's happening at the church grounds from 6:30 p.m. this morning. Let me welcome musical director of the event and the show, Michael Hudlin, as well as rector and producer of the In Spirit and Truth, Canon Richard Jacob. Good morning to you, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are we this morning?
Pretty good.
Yeah, all's well.
All right. So, Canon, let me start with you.
Yes.
Why are we doing this event?
Right, so All Saints Day was November 1st, and as part of our celebration, Patronal Festival, we've had a series of activities. We actually had a Health and Wellness Day last Saturday.
Okay.
Mission services on Chapel of Ease in Maraval, and on Monday in Veda's Panyard, actually.
Nice.
And so we have our Harvest Thanksgiving on Sunday morning at 9. And one of the highlights of the Patronal Festival is this concert in Spirit and in Truth, under the capable direction of our brother Michael Hudlin. I will let him talk about the concert. But one of the things that has been a part of the history of All Saints is this rich music legacy. There are several concerts. In fact, the last time that Michael and I were here, it was for the Black Collar Collective Foundation's concert that was held at All Saints. And so we're trying to keep that rich tradition alive, to encourage it and deepen it. And the concert is envisioned in a slightly different way, if I might say so myself.
Do you feel like these concerts or these musical events help to add to the attendance at church, or people coming and saying, you know, I'm curious enough to come back?
Sometimes. I think we really want to invite folks into the space as well, and to help folks understand, of course, that some of these things actually become a counterbalance to all of the things that are going on around us. St. Augustine was the one who said that he who sings prays twice. And so you come into a space, it's been classical music, it's been different things, and there's a way in which music lifts your spirit. It helps you to relax, to focus. I think that what Michael and his team have planned is a superb treat, really, that will lift everybody's spirits. There are a couple of little secrets in there. I will let him talk about it.
Well, Michael, time to go the secrets on them one time.
Yeah. But it is intended to help people come to God in a different way.
Yeah. Michael, tell me what we have planned.
Well, so Canon spoke about things being a little different, and I had a friend who used to say, Michael, what's the story of the show? What is the story?
And I was going to come back and say, tell me what your thought process was when he came and said, we're doing this concert.
Yes, so I tend to try to stay away from having a story per se, because I believe narratives can be a little constricting. So what I like to do, I'll have a theme. And then I'll let that theme just direct how I want the audience to feel. I think it's much more important to deal with the emotion of the audience, much less than trying to get a story that you can think about. It's not a cerebral experience. It's a spiritual experience. It's a musical experience. So when I do that by creating crests, small crests and troughs, like you would do in a movie or in a book or in anything of the sort. So with this show, it's separated into 3 different segments. Classical being first, then we have spiritual, and finally we're ending with some local things.
Okay.
So each section has its own rise and fall that, you know, I would hope grips the audience.
Right.
And we have something that I like to call an anchor piece in the middle of the show, that is Chariot Jubilee by Nathaniel Dett. It is a massive piece. It's about 15 minutes of non-stop singing, led by Eddie Cumberbatch, the wonderful, capable tenor that we all know and love. So it's really going to be a fantastic production.
How do you decide on which songs? I mean, the theme is in Spirit and Truth, right? And you're saying you're not telling a story outright about the whole thing. It sounds like it's 3 different stories, or 3 parts of a story that deals with, you know, the Spirit and the Truth. But how do you decide which songs you're going to put that fall into this theme?
It really leans on how I want the audience to feel. So the opening should be like a big gut-wrenching punch. That's how I think the audience needs to feel at the beginning of a show. Like, wow, what did I just listen to? I mean, it's a huge emotional gripping moment that I want everyone to be at the edge of their seats. Like, what did I just experience? And then I'm going to keep you there for a little bit, and then I'm going to let you relax. And then I'll lead you into a sense of security. And then we're going to build back up again. It has to have that kind of push and pull of emotion. A good movie has that. A good book has that.
So for me, that is the basis of good storytelling.
Exactly.
So you're saying you're not telling a story, but you are telling it. All right. So how can we get tickets to be a part of it, or where can we get tickets to be a part of it?
Right. So tickets are available from the parish office. Michael has tickets. I have tickets. Those numbers are available and are circulating. And we, of course, are trying to make sure that we get as many people to be present for
How
the
much a ticket? Well, I see on the screen it says $200 for tickets.
$200.
All right, and that's it anywhere.
$400 with a concert for $200 in church. You can't. Well, he said Edward Cumberbatch. There are a whole host of others.
I know going to ask Michael, who else can we expect to see you mention, Eddie? Who else?
Yes. There's Dirk Gavaya. There is Alicia Barry. There's some people from the church like Trevor Townsend. So it's really and truly a great list and a great cast that we have lined up for you.
Canon, when we look at society and how a concert like this, like you mentioned, the balance that we need to have to counteract some of the things that we see negatively happening. In Tobago, they're having on Sunday a Remembrance Day, and of course, they're having a emergency day of prayer.
Yes.
For me, like you said, when you sing, you pray twice.
Yeah.
So is it that we can consider this to also be an emergency prayer session, just double because it's music?
Well, the scripture says that everyone who worships God must worship in spirit and in truth. We're trying to help folks be guided to what it is to experience in spirit and in truth. Yeah. And there's a way in which we limit ourselves. Well, the way that I've begun to say it is that folks behave like they somehow feel that they can surprise God. Which, again, well, the way you smile, I mean,
possible.
It's not possible. So what you have, the things that we have, the things that God has created, they're created for our use, not our misuse and abuse. There's a way in which every genre of music has something to offer, but it is how we use it. And so we really are trying to also expose folks to a notion that just come to God. Just be still for a moment. And enjoy what God has allowed us to experience.
Michael, one of the things that you mentioned is that there's going to be a local element to it. Do you want to expand on that a bit more?
Well, I shouldn't say everyone, but you know that I compose sometimes. So the show that we did earlier this year, Where We're From, I'm taking some of the pieces that we did in that show and putting it into that production. Also, we're doing some local hymns. So there's a hymn composed by Dexter Noel, who's a Jamaican, that we're going to be doing into the show. And I also wrote something I wrote it a few years ago, but it's never been performed. So that is also going to be premiered at this concert.
Nice. So we have premiere work, we have work that we know and love, we have 15-minute long work, we have all sorts of prayer and worship happening. What's that?
Yes, there's pan as
well.
Of
course, there must be pan if you say local. Are you going to include the pan? Yeah, that's a given, man. All right, so we're getting ready to head to All Saints Church. In Spirit and Truth is happening this coming Saturday. Kicks off at 6:30 p.m. Tickets are only $200. You can call the church office 627-7004 to get your tickets. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us this morning.
It's our pleasure.
And I want to encourage each and every one of you out there to go out there and make a difference today now, because together we aspire, and if together we perspire, then together we most definitely can achieve. On behalf of Ayanka Will, Natasha Lake, and the entire team here at TTT, I wish you a beautiful Thursday. Tobago, we love you so very much, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for a fantastic Friday right here on the Now Morning Show. Take care.
Put Jesus in your Christmas. Put Jesus in your